There's essentially an infinite number of personal injury cases that could exist, but there's certainly some more common categories that we see a lot more of than others. Those types of things include motor vehicle crashes or collisions, and then they kind of spring off from there. So they could be a single car crash, where there's just one vehicle involved, all the way up to, these multi-car pileups that you hear about in the news from time to time. It could be just two cars that collide. That tends to be what most people think of when they think of a motor vehicle collision. And there's different scenarios that can certainly spring off of those. There are what we classify as premises liability cases, which are things like a slip and fall, a pool of liquid that's negligently left out, a hazardous condition that somebody fails to remedy, like a business owner or a homeowner. And then it gets a lot more specific from there. There are examples like mass torts, which is where a large group of people is hurt by the same thing. Those are things that you might see that involve like a prescription drug or a pesticide, those kinds of things that affect, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people nationwide. There's animal liability cases. Most people immediately jump to dog bites, which are certainly cases that we see. There's medical malpractice cases where, a surgery is not performed in accordance with the standard of care, or something is misdiagnosed, like a doctor fails to properly diagnose a condition and more significant harm results from there. There's also wrongful death cases where a lot of those same scenarios I just described, where somebody unfortunately passes away and then their legal personal injury claim kind of transfers down to their spouse, their significant other, their children, relatives. Those are really the main categories of classes of cases that I would say we see. I use the term personal injury all the time. It's a concept that I'm familiar with. Most people, when they hear that, they don't exactly know what we're talking about. They understand personal probably relates to an individual, a person. They're obviously familiar with the concept of an injury. What that really translates to in terms of a personal injury case is where someone, some business, some individual person failed to live up to a particular standard of care. This is the concept called negligence, right? There's a certain duty or standard that people are supposed to conduct whatever activity they're doing in accordance with. And if they don't do that and somebody gets hurt, that's where, in essence, is the genesis of a personal injury case. If you'd like more details on the concept of negligence, you can see our other video here.